Hi everyone, my guest today is Robert Eckford from Rua Gold. Hi Robert, how are you?
Good to see you, Peter. I'm good, thank you.
Welcome to the spotlight. And full disclosure, I am a minor shareholder of this company, and he has a very interesting story today, and I would like to share why I bought shares. There are three main topics for me, at least. This is the risk of the team, which is always something considerable in case of an exploration company. Then there is, of course, the inherent risk of exploration, which is, in my opinion, a low risk. And then there is the speedy production possibility. So we will also show you why Rick Rule does not buy this share. There is a good reason for that, but we can grow up and we might have a different opinion. And I show you why we have that. So if you are fine with that, then let's jump in. So the first one is the team risk. Of course, the team is very important. Is your team experienced? Did you do this before? What is the situation here?
Yeah, no, it's really a common thing, and it's what your viewers and any investor in the mining
Mhm.
space, especially the junior mining space, should really look at who the people are. And a common phrase that we hear a lot in mining is back the jockey, because if they've done it before, they'll likely do it again. If they've done it twice before, even more likely to do it again. So we've assembled a team, and we're all veterans in this industry. Between us all, and I can share a screen from our current marketing deck that's on our website.
Thank you.
But there we go. So between our team, we've raised over $2 billion of capital in the gold mining space specifically. We've built and put into production 8 mines, and we've exited and made shareholders money worth over $11 billion. So we're not new to this. The team that we've assembled have all done it before. We've gone from the exploration phase through to production, built mines, commissioned them, gone through that difficult process, and we're all here and we're all together to do it again. Our team is this. It's a board and management team that have a long standing history with New Zealand. I'm a Kiwi. Our chairman and our biggest shareholder, Oliver Lennox King, is a Kiwi. The most recent sort of companies that your viewers can look at that we've come out of is for Oliver Lennox King's case, he was the founder of Rua Gold. It was a Burkina Faso small footprint, high grade gold miner, and he took it from exploration stage, built a mine, added on a second asset, started building that before Fortuna Mining came in and bought them out for $1.2 billion. I most recently came out of Aris Mining. Aris Mining, we started in 2020, and that was a $5 million company when we started that. Myself as the CFO, Neil Woodyer, out of Endeavour Mining and Rua Gold, was the CEO. And that is now the largest gold producer in Colombia, over $1 billion of market cap, and on the way to continual growth plan. So we've built billion-dollar companies before. This is not our first time doing it. And right now we're at the outset of doing that with Rua Gold.
Okay.
While we talk about team,
Yeah.
I think the other one thing worth mentioning is the actual capital structure, and do the team actually own shares of their own company? And
Would be my
I'm
next
very
question.
well, sorry to preempt you,
No, no,
Peter.
no. Thank you.
But I really think your viewers should never get into a story unless they really understand what the price is that a management team have paid for their shares, because there's too many stories in the mining sector where the management give themselves free stock or 1 cent stock, and then they come in and ask investors to put it in at 20, 30, 40 cents. And so this isn't the case. We're always trying to be aligned with our shareholders. And so right now we have a really tight capital structure. Peter, when we met in Germany, we hadn't done the rollback as at that stage, but now we've completed the rollback. We have 50 million shares out, and the management own 18% of those shares. And our average cost base is around the 78 cents mark. And sorry, I had to do the math there because we've recently done this rollback, and so we have to apply a 6-to-1 ratio. But our buy price on average is 78 cents, and as such, the current share price is 70 cents. So anyone getting into the story now has the same cost base of their shares as the management and board. And so you couldn't be more aligned with what we're trying to achieve in New Zealand.
Yeah, okay, thank you. I'm happy that, of course, it is a updated sheet, so concerning the number of shares. If we are at this topic, why is Rick Rule not buying your stock?
I love Rick Rule and what he does
Yeah,
and his commentary
yeah,
on the mining space. He's I'm a big fan of his and follow him closely. Um, and I've had dialogue. He was a shareholder of Aris, and
mhm,
so he's been a shareholder of our ventures in the past. Rick Rule really, and I'm speaking on behalf of him, but he really likes the investment philosophy where he can buy a share and get a warrant as well. And he likes the upside of a warrant and
yeah,
sometimes free carries that. So he's always got that upside and he maintains his own liquidity. But when we were raising money for Rua Gold, and we've now raised, since we've gone public, we've raised over $15 million. None of that raise has been by adding an extra warrant or a half warrant on top of that. And that's very rare for a sub 50 million market cap company to be able to raise money, especially at that level, $15 million, without issuing a whole bunch of warrants and diluting the capital structure. Obviously, from an investor standpoint and from Rick Rule's standpoint, having a warrant is really good. From a company standpoint, I see Rua as a 5 to 10 bagger type stock. So any warrant we have is going to be really dilutive for our shareholders that us that have put in money at, as I said, the 78 cent amount.
yeah.
So we've tried to hold off on having warrants, and as such, we're not as an attractive investment for Rick Rule, who likes to hold those.
But I say thank you. So I am happy that you don't want to dilute. And of
Yeah.
course, if you don't have to dilute, then why do so, right? So
Exactly, and
yeah,
it
we are
speaks to the
happy.
volume of the management. It speaks to the volume of the assets, and we're heavily institutionally backed, and the institutions are much more open to just holding the stock and believing the story.
Yeah, our goals are aligned. So that's really helps. Okay.
Excellent.
So we covered the themes. You done it multiple times. Okay. And then the next one would be the exploration risk, which is, I think, yeah, low, because I know you have gold. When we met, I I brought this New Zealand $5 with me just to prove I was there. I did not bring gold, but here it is. So this I don't know if it's sharp, but I can pull up some pictures. But I have gold in my hand, what I really found there. So we will get um, to the assets, but you are around Reef Town, and I've been there in this town and in the surrounding rivers, and I know there is gold in the mountains, which is coming down, which I found with my own hands. And so, if somebody is interested, then in one of the corners, you can find a linked video, and you can see how I found this gold in New Zealand. So I know there is gold. Uh, Whether you can drill it and there find it, it's another question, but I know there is gold. So that's why I think the exploration risk is low. But what is your opinion? And then I will ask also about the assets and valuations. But if you
Sure,
can share
yeah.
this story about what you have there, what you do there.
Yeah, I mean, a quick fun fact just before we get into
Yeah,
the
yeah.
deep knowledge is Reef Town is called Reefton for a good reason. I mean, reef it's known in the gold space that gold occurs in these reefs, so they call it, and it's a golden reef that you're looking for. And so when they call it Reefton, it's
Mhm.
because this area that we're looking at, and obviously, as you've proven, not many people have been down there, so it's great to meet people that get down to Reefton. But there's gold in this area, and the whole town was named because it was a gold rush back in the late
Yeah.
1800s. So
Yeah.
the gold rush of New Zealand was actually even bigger than California's gold rush. It was the backbone that created New Zealand's independence. So when people don't think of New Zealand as a gold mining country or a mining country for that matter, it was actually what founded New Zealand's economy and its backbone. So there's a long history of gold. Reefton, as you said, has a lot of gold still there. Um, the exploration risk, I agree, is really low, and that's what we're looking to prove the thesis of in 2025.
Yeah. So yeah.
Maybe
Yeah. Sorry.
maybe to demonstrate that, I can do another screen share and I can show your viewers really what we've got.
Thank
Um,
you. In the
uh,
meantime, I tell also that when you visit this town or this neighborhood, you drive by. Uh, Many times you see some tables about gold, here gold, that's gold, and you see the historical evidence of the English were there mining gold. So yeah, it's still there.
Completely, yeah, and interestingly, I mean, there's a distillery in Reefton because it's a town that's trying to be reinvigorated, and New Zealand is trying to promote regional development and for people to live in regional areas because the population of 5 million of New Zealanders are densely populated around Auckland, Wellington, Christchurch, the major cities, and the regional areas have really pushing for mining as well as regional development, and that's a push to get people back to living throughout New Zealand. And so there's a distillery that's just opened in Reefton, and they make a gin, and there's gold flakes in the gin that come from Reefton as well. So you can have a gin and tonic with gold flakes in it when you come down there next time, Peter.
Next time, yes. Good.
But I wanted to show your viewers this is the overview of where we are, and I'll show you a couple of things when we go through this now. We've got the overview of Reefton, which is 125,000 hectares. So we're talking the size of Los Angeles, the amount of land we have there. There's two reasons why I'm very confident that there's still a lot of gold left in the ground. One, it hasn't been touched in any earnest way since the 1950s. And so you think about how far technology's come since 1950 to today, how far mining technology has come, and how much deeper mines are, how much more efficient mines are. There's a lot of opportunity to develop this area and really take it from where we were in the 1950s as a historic gold rush town into a modern day mining town. Secondly, we've got this entire Reefton district now wrapped up, and we completed that through a mixture of us organically obtaining tenements, and we've done this over the last 5 years. So this isn't a quick rush to the market. We've got a good asset. Let's quickly run and start this company. We've been building this for 5 years since 2019. We then, this year, closed an acquisition of our neighbor where we took over the remainder of the district, except for this little L shape that your viewers will be able to see in the middle of our land package. That's Blackwater project. It's run by Federation Mining, and they've raised over 150 million US dollars as a private company. And they've been backed and they're fully permitted all the way through to pouring first gold, and they've got a resource on their ground of almost 800,000 ounces at 24 grams a ton. So I'll pause there and say the average gold grade being produced in the world right now is less than a gram a ton. So you're now talking 24x on the average quality of gold in the world being produced. And that's right here at Blackwater, which we've enveloped and surrounded. The second picture that we'll really look at is then a north to south view of these historic mines. So what we're looking at now is sort of a look at in the 1900s to the 1950s. These old timers would walk along the mountain in Reefton. They'd find outcropping gold quartz veins, and they'd follow these veins down for as long as they could, and as much as the technology of the day would allow them to. And they could only get on average 3, 4, 500 meters deep before the mine would collapse or before they'd hit the groundwater table and they couldn't dewater the underground mine. All of that isn't an issue in today's world. And so looking at Blackwater again, our neighbor, they've gone in and they had a historic mine that produced 733,000 ounces in the 1950s, and it collapsed at 700 meters. So it was one of the deepest mines. What they've done is they've built a decline, and they've examined under that old mine, and they found that the gold continues on all the way down to 1,500 meters at depth. And so now we've got 7 federations on our property. It's the exact same area. We're all within 20 kilometers distance of each other. It's the same mineralization structure, and none of them have been explored at depth. So it's really not, is this a question of, is there gold in the ground? And I'd almost take it to the fact that, is it economic gold in the ground is now almost a de-risk question, because Federation have also proven that. And we're at the point now is, how much gold is in the ground? And how much is it going to cost to extract it? And that's what we're on the hunt to find. That's the answers that we need to deliver to our shareholders. And so 2025 will be a big year for us. We'll have 3 drill rigs turning, and we'll be looking to define a resource by the end of next year to prove out exactly that we can mine this economically.
May I ask you to go back one slide
Most certainly.
to the map of the area? So this little L shape in the middle, what they proven is this less than 1 million ounces. So it's a small resource, in my opinion, but it's just this small little area, right?
Correct, Peter. I mean, that's a very astute observation, because
stupid question, maybe beginner question, but so because you have much more ground to discover, can we expect that you will find more gold? The grade is fine, it's fantastic, but also how many ounces you find? Can I expect more because just you have more land?
That is exactly, and I say it's an astute observation, because part of Federation's difficulty right now, in my view, and I look at this again from the perspective of the full cycle of what we're trying to do. I'm not here to run a Reefton mine for the next 30 years. What my business plan is, what my investment thesis is for any shareholder, is I want to create an attractive company that one of these mid-tiers or major gold companies can buy and run. And Federation Mining, with their less than 1 million ounce asset and small land package, doesn't have the scale and flexibility that Rua Gold will have with its bigger land package. And so we've definitely used Federation and the good work they've done as a leading example of what one mine in this area can do. But then we'll be quick to say that we've got 7x on Federation, and your viewers can do the math that if you times Federation's 800,000 ounces by 7, you've quickly got close to a 5 million, or if not over a 5 million ounce opportunity. And we can get into details that they've even started deeper than us, and we've got shallower opportunities, so that could even be higher. But really, without being in some sort of NI 43101 compliant number, we're really looking at a district that should have over 5 million ounces left in the ground. And that's what's attractive to make a tier 1 asset for one day. Once we've done all the hard work and once we've recognized all that shareholder value, the business model in the mining space is that the bigger gold companies come and then wrap these up and buy them at a premium, and the shareholders walk away with a lot of money. And that's what we've done before. That was Rox Gold, that was Frontier, that was K92, and that's been Leah Gold. All gold companies that we've created, made an attractive asset for a major. They've bought it at a premium, and then we've walked away.
Okay, thank you for outlining the main goal and the ballpark figures. So it's of course it's forward-looking, but there is a good reason why you are saying these numbers. So okay, I'm happy. Thank you. I get the full picture. Okay, and is New Zealand mining friendly? Is it easy to get permits?
I'm going to stop my share here and so we can talk
Okay.
head to head. So New Zealand historically was a challenging place to do business, and they're a really environmentally conscious country, and it's they put their stewardship of their land first and take it very seriously, and that is exactly why at Rua we're so focused on underground mining, high grade assets. We're not interested in trying to create some sort of open pit in New Zealand and having a big environmental footprint. We're keeping our footprint really small. We're going to be going underground and focused on the real high grade veins. And so the government really get behind that. I mean, there's a government that came into power in October 2024, October 2023. Chris Luxon is the new prime minister. He was the CEO of Air New Zealand up until 2020. And so he comes from a long business background. He's not a lifelong politician. He understands the need to balance budgets and be fiscally responsible. And so when he came in, New Zealand was in a difficult state. They didn't have a really thriving industry. They relied heavily on tourism and agriculture, and that was susceptible to what we're seeing now with potential trade wars with the US and tariffs being put on agricultural products. That was susceptible to the likes of COVID-19, where tourism fell off a cliff. And so their economy was vulnerable. And Chris Luxon saw this and he wanted more industry, more economic development, more jobs for Kiwis. And to do that, he saw mining as a really good vehicle. And so not only do New Zealand tolerate mining, they're actually extremely proactive in wanting us to be there, to the point where Shane Jones, the Minister of Mines, goes out to mining conferences and meets with investors and says New Zealand is open for business. And to prove it, just yesterday, it's a great timing of talking to you, Peter, because just yesterday they approved the fast track legislation bill that went through its third reading. And what that new legislation does is it takes mine permitting from what was historically 3, 4, 5 years because it was a long stage gate process of different stakeholders. It now takes it down to a 6-month process. And it doesn't do it by cutting any corners. It just takes out the bureaucracy of the stage gates. It puts all the relevant stakeholders onto one organizing committee, one decision-making committee, and they can all look at it at the same time, provide feedback to the company so that any concerns or queries can be met, and then they can look after a 6-month period to approve that mining permit. So there's already a couple of mines that are in that fast track process. It kicks off February 7 is the announcement. And so by August next year, there's 3 gold mines that are looking to expand or be built, and they're going to be going through that fast track process. So again, your viewers should look at what permitting times are for any development company they're looking at. And I'll guarantee you New Zealand will be the quickest permitting time at 6 months on a worldwide scale. Not even some of the West African countries that really want foreign investment can move that quickly. New Zealand is really trailblazing in putting the mining community first and putting foreign investment first for the benefit of the overall country.
Okay. There's music in my ears. Okay, thank you. And the sooner this can be realized, the better. And it's not only this Reef Town area, it's not only your one asset, but you have another one, right?
Correct.
You...
Yeah, we've also got an asset in the North Island. It's in the Hauraki district. It's called Glamorgan, and that is an epithermal zone of New Zealand. And so when we're looking in the South Island, it's getting into the geology. We're talking about an orogenic structure, which means it's the start of the earth style rocks, and all these veins are extremely old. When you're talking about an epithermal system, they're only, when I say only, they're only 7, 8 million years old, and it's generated. These gold veins are generated through the volcanic movements, and it's thinking Rim of Fire, think Papua New Guinea, think Japan, even California. All these epithermal style deposits existed because of this era of volcanic structure. And so we're focused in this area. Again, we're very confident. We have a de-risked, a limited exploration risk because we're surrounded by current or future gold mines that have already been proven up. So we're not reinventing the wheel. We've got a strategic land package in the North Island, which is actually right adjacent to Oceana Gold's Wharekirauponga project. They shorten it to WKP. And again, good timing of talking to you, Peter, because 2 weeks ago, Oceana Gold just brought out a PFS on their WKP project, showing that it was an NPV of I want to say off the top of my head, 650, 700 million, and a nice underground grade of 10 grams a ton. Again, reminding your viewers that it's 10 times the average grade being produced right now. And that's a PFS ready to construct mine. And so they're in that fast track process that we just talked about. And so that will start in February. They'll be shovel ready by August next year, should everything go well through the fast track process. So we've got adjacent to us a huge development project. And we've got, the key of it all is that we've got Simon Henderson on our management team. He's our COO. He's the geologist that has actually all the knowledge. I'm just the spokesman, and he's really the brains of the operation. And he's 40 plus years of geology history, and 20 of that is in the Hauraki district. So he knows this area, but not only does he know this area, he was part of the discovery team that discovered WKP. So not just the geologist we have doesn't just understand the geology of the area, he discovered the adjacent deposit next to us, and now he's managed to get the next piece of land, and he's looking for that next discovery. So again, not just a matter of building companies and proving that people have done it before and will do it again, but when you're looking at geologists, it's have they had a discovery and can they do it again? And that's key for Simon Henderson in this story.
Okay, thank you. Well said. So I think we covered a lot in this half an hour. And every time I speak with you, I want to buy more shares. Is there something else you would like to add?
No, I mean, I'd only add without trying to sound panicky or urgency, I'd encourage people to look at the stock in the near term, because one, we're trading at all-time lows, and there's two reasons for that. In Canada, in December is a very prevalent tax selling time, and people want to recognize and tax plan around their shares. And secondly, we've just completed that rollback we talked about at the start. And in the markets, when you complete a rollback, generally the shares trade downwards, but it's not for any fundamental reasons for the company. So we're trading at lows right now. I'm buying shares in the market because we're trading at such a valuable, a low valuation right now. And we've got a lot of catalysts coming to the market. As I said, 3 drill rigs are turning, so exploration results are coming imminently. And so I'd encourage your viewers to look at it sooner rather than later, because some good things are happening.
Yeah. Okay. And also, I also encourage people to look at your presentation and to do your own research, folks. That's the most important thing. And and visit New Zealand, because it's the most beautiful, or one of the most beautiful countries in the world. It's amazing. Okay.
Very much so. I'll be down there in January, so I'm excited to get back down there.
Yeah, nice. Great. Okay. Thank you very much. I think if someone has more questions, where can they find you? I put the link below to the video description. But
sure, yeah, the
contact you.
website that we have has a lot of information, and there's a contact page on the website, and
Yeah.
I personally receive those emails from the info at Rua Gold, and I'll make sure that they all get looked at and they all get adequate responses.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Very kind of you. Okay.
My pleasure.
Thank you. Then thank you for having time for us, and it's very it was a very great story. Thank you for doing this.
Thanks, Peter. It's great to be on here.
Have a nice day. Thank you.
You too.
Goodbye.
Bye.